Mindfulness is basically creating a practice and space of just being in the present moment without judging it, without trying to push away or change what we're feeling, or even alter where our physical form is. And it can be really powerful. Research is showing more and more that having those kinds of spaces in our day helps us be more resilient to stress, helps lower our stress level, and just helps us cope better. And so we think that's a really important part of health. And so being a part of delivering that on campus for free once a week, just walk in and do it, is a great tool. We also offer one of the Train Your Brain programs is the Jedi Training in Real Life. It's a mindfulness skills workshop that shows you more about mindfulness and how to do it in your daily life. And we've even got some links on our website, 3 minutes all the way to 20 minutes, just little mindfulness videos to help people learn how to do that. You don't even have to come into our center if you don't want to, just check out the website. So I think the benefits of a mindfulness meditation show up in you create space to just be where you're at and listen to your body and your thoughts and your feelings without judgment or without asking them to change. And many times I've helped clients create that space, and they've realized that they were distracting themselves for something that wasn't working, and they were just trying not to think about it. And then as soon as they kind of let their body be still, those messages started to come through that something in their life needed to change. Sometimes emotions can be hard, and so if it's an unpleasant emotion like fear or anger, we want to push it away. And so mindfulness helps us create space to kind of just listen to those emotions without feeling compelled to react, just to kind of see what comes up. And so you can learn a lot. It's healing to our brain. Research shows that it creates a healing response for redundant. Healing is healing. It basically creates a buffer between us and stress, where stress affects us less, and we recover faster, and we're just better at humaning if we give ourselves that kind of time. And research suggests that you can get that in as little as 5 minutes a day. That's why we have some of the short videos on our website, because especially when people are starting out, we're not going to ask them to commit to a 30-minute mindfulness practice. You can start to see benefits in 5 minutes. I do mindfulness meditations all over campus with classes and with student groups, and with almost without exception, after it's over, I'll ask students, how was that? How long do you think it was? And they always seem very surprised at what a difference it feels in their body and in their minds, and how, even though it was only a couple of minutes, it was very impactful. Our first session with every client is an intake session, and it's free, and at the end of the intake session we say, okay, what do we want to do? And that can look like, I want to work with you and here's what I want to change. It can look like, I don't think this is working and I'd rather talk to a different clinician, or sometimes we may even have suggestions about, we may not be the right fit, but I know who is. But part of that intake process is getting to know each other, and so we ask a lot of questions about what's different about your life that you want to change, what's not working, what's your family been like, what have your relationships been like. But some of those things, like how's your spirituality affected you or not, what kind of cultural groups, racial and ethnic groups are you part of, what are your values. We want to understand our clients as individuals, and so we can try to match with them and give them what they need. I think a lot of people worry that if they come to see a clinician, the clinician's view will be the one they have to swallow, and that I'm going to give them a lot of advice and tell them, well, what you're doing is wrong and what you think is important is wrong. That's just not what I do. I'm much more interested in, does it line up with your values? Is it working for you? If it's causing you pain, let's talk about what you're getting from it and how maybe we can learn to get you that in a way that causes you less pain. A lot of our students are afraid to talk to us about drinking and drug use because they're afraid either we're going to judge them or it's going to get out, like we'll pick up the phone and call someone, and that's just not what we do. Confidentiality is something we take very seriously. The only reason we break confidentiality is to keep someone safe. If if someone comes in and says, I'm going to hurt myself or someone else, then we're going to work with that client to keep them safe, and part of that plan may involve calling someone to help that client. But we don't rat people out, and our interest is always, is it working? And so I think that's another apprehensive thing, because in college a lot of people start experimenting with substances and sometimes may worry about feeling judged or betrayed, even worse. But our questions are always, is it working for you? Client expressed that concern and said, I'm worried that what you're asking me to do or what you're suggesting might conflict with my religious beliefs. That's a reality for them. I'm not going to talk them out of it and try to say, oh, well, you're wrong, science says this, blah, 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 blah. It's my job to say, okay, what do we need what do we need to get that I can suggest or that we can figure out together that matches your beliefs, whether they're religious or vehemently not religious or whatever the client holds dear. It's my job to meet them where they're at, not changing them to be where I think they should be. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, so I would take that very seriously. If a client says, this doesn't work for me, it's my job to say, okay, let's figure out something that does. It's my job to go out into the campus community and be an advocate for mental health to all of us. And so part of my job is I've developed an outreach calendar that each month I focus on one or two themes to try to show up on social media and share articles and memes and pictures that I think are relevant to that theme. We do tabling, we do programs, we let student groups know, hey, if you want us to come talk about this, we'd love to come talk about this. I think we get a lot of messages sometimes that our value is tied to whether or not we have a partner. And so there's this constant kind of idea that you should be looking for a partner. If you don't have one, what's wrong with you? If you have one, perhaps just be satisfied, even if they're not making you happy. And so it's the idea that you are important and worthy of love, that it's not something you have to earn by having good grades, by having a great body, by already having a partner to prove your worth. It's the idea that you're lovable just for being who you are and just for existing, which for some people is a pretty revolutionary concept. I talk to a lot of people that deep down feel like they have been taught that love is something they have to earn by being worthy. And so they may compare themselves to other people and say, well, I'm not that lovable because I'm not the smartest or the cutest or the thinnest or the most athletic or the most popular. There's always a way to keep themselves down. And it's possible to want to change things about yourself and say, I'm growing and I'm turning into a better version of myself, but still love yourself the way you are.